My name is Amaran Lovu. I am 34 years old. In my family, I am not the loud one. I am the one who fixes things after the shouting ends. I live in Lagos, in a city that never apologizes for being too much. Too loud. Too fast. Too hungry. The kind of place where people learn early that love is often measured in what you give up. For 8 years, I paid for my younger brother's education. Medical school. Private. Expensive. Prestigious. 8 years of tuition. 8 years of rent transfers. 8 years of, just this once, sister. When he finally became a doctor. He took me to court. Over our grandfather's inheritance. And when I asked why, he said something I will never forget. Your role was never to win. Your role was to support. I work as a documents investigator, the quiet kind. Land disputes. Missing files. Corporate fraud that smells clean until you touch it. I notice patterns. I notice what people don't say when they think they're being generous. That skill made me dangerous. But in my family, it made me useful. If a bill went unpaid, I paid it. If a cousin dropped out, I funded a second chance. If my mother cried at night, I sent money before asking why. They called me strong. In our house, that meant reliable. And reliable meant exhaustible. It started small. Just help him with the first year, my mother said. After that, scholarships. The scholarships never came. But the invoices did. Tuition. Accommodation near the hospital. Exam resits. Clinical coats imported from abroad because image matters. I ate Gary and eggs for weeks. I sold my second phone. I postponed my own plans until they felt imaginary. I told myself, when Kola becomes a doctor, this will mean something. The night everything cracked happened in my mother's apartment. A high-rise overlooking 3rd Mainland Bridge. City lights blinking like a lie that keeps repeating itself. I was washing rice when Kola walked in. Fresh haircut. Hospital badge still clipped to his shirt like a medal. Confidence spilling out of him like cologne. Amara, my mother said without looking at me. Kola needs you tomorrow. I nodded. What for? To drive him to the white coat ceremony. I already cleared my schedule. Kola smiled, not at me, but through me. You won't be late, right? You have this habit of disappearing. I swallowed the reply. Then my mother said it. Softly. Almost kindly. Your duty is sacrifice. That's how families survive. I put the spoon down. My duty. Not my choice. Not my kindness. My duty. Kola finally looked at me. You're good at the background, Amara, he said. Not everyone is meant to stand in front. Something shifted inside my chest, not pain, not anger. Recognition. 2 weeks later, our grandfather died. Baba Sadiq. A retired dock supervisor who hated lies and loved silence. He always said, the truth doesn't shout. It waits. At the will reading, he left. His old family house to me. The riverside land to Kola. And the investment split, 55% to me. There was a letter addressed to my name. My mother's smile froze. Kola's hands tightened. That night, I was removed from the family group chat. 3 days later, I was served court papers. Kola claimed I had manipulated our grandfather. That I had controlled finances. That I had pressured him. The evidence? Photos of me visiting Baba. Bank transfers, my own money, reframed as leverage. Text messages taken out of breath and turned into accusation. When I called Kola, his voice was calm. This is just procedure, he said. You can afford a lawyer. I asked him one question. Why are you doing this? There was a pause. Then he said. Because you don't need it like I do. The court date came on a humid Thursday morning. Lagos air thick enough to hold grudges. I wore a simple black suit. No jewelry. No softness. When it was my turn to speak, I handed the judge an envelope. 8 years of receipts. Transfers. Signed notes. Then I handed over a second envelope. A letter from Baba. Written in shaky ink. Addressed to Kola. The judge read silently. Then he laughed. Not mockery. Not cruelty. The laugh of someone who had just watched a lie collapse under its own weight. That laugh changed everything. But this story is not about revenge. It is about what happens after you stop paying to belong. The judge's laughter did not end the war. It only exposed it. Outside the courtroom, the air felt heavier than inside. As if Lagos itself had leaned in to listen. And now didn't know what to say. My mother did not look at me. She straightened Kola's collar like he was still a boy late for school. Her hands trembled, but her voice didn't. This didn't have to happen, she said. I nodded. No, I said. It didn't. Kola stared at the tiled floor, jaw clenched. The confident doctor. The family miracle. Suddenly very quiet. You embarrassed us, he muttered. I looked at him for a long moment. 8 years of sacrifices flickered through my mind. Bank alerts, skipped meals, nights pretending hunger was discipline. You sued me, I said. You embarrassed yourself. That night, I returned to Baba Siddique's house. The old family home sat on a narrow street in Suralere. Paint peeling like tired skin. Windows dusty but stubborn. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. Silence. Not the painful kind. The honest kind. I sat on the floor and opened Baba's letter again. Amara. You give because you love, not because you are weak. But love that demands payment is not love. If anyone tells you your purpose is to suffer so others can shine, tell them no. I pressed the paper to my chest. For the first time, I cried. Not from pain, but from relief. The backlash came fast. Aunties calling with concern-heavy voices. Uncles warning me about family reputation. Church friends asking why I couldn't forgive and move on. Forgive what? That I paid my brother's life forward? That I refused to disappear afterward? My mother sent a message. We raised you better than this. I typed a reply. Deleted it. Typed again. Then I turned off my phone. Money has a strange smell when it stops owning you. With Baba's inheritance, I paid off the loans I had taken in my own name for Kola's education. Watching the balance hit zero felt unreal. Like removing a limb I had been carrying so long I forgot it wasn't mine. I fixed my car. Replaced the brakes. Bought groceries without counting coins. Small rebellions. Kola tried another approach. He showed up one evening. No arrogance. No courtroom confidence. Just exhaustion. I'm on night shifts, he said quietly. Residency is hell. I leaned against the doorframe. You didn't come here to talk about work. He hesitated. I paid something back, he said. Check your account. I had already seen it. 200,000 Nigerian nairas. No message. No apology. I didn't ask for pity payments, I said. I asked for respect. His face hardened. You always need control, he snapped. That's your problem. I laughed, soft, bitter. No, I said. My problem was thinking love meant silence. Weeks passed. The city moved on. It always does. I took new cases. Elder property fraud. Women pushed out of inheritance by polite lies. I listened. I documented. I won. Turns out, I was good at fighting for people who had been trained not to fight for themselves. One evening, sitting alone in Baba's house, I realized something dangerous. I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. And freedom, I learned, terrifies people who benefit from your chains. In African families, silence is often mistaken for respect. Especially from daughters. Especially from the eldest. When I stopped answering calls, my mother did not panic. She strategized. She came to my office one afternoon, unannounced, wearing the expression she used at funerals. Grief mixed with authority. "You are tearing this family apart," she said, sitting without being invited. I did not offer her water. "You taught me to hold us together," she continued. "And now you're letting pride destroy everything." Pride. That word again. It is amazing how easily people rename your survival when it inconveniences them. She spoke of culture. Of what people would say. Of how my brother was under pressure. And how I should understand a man's burden. I listened. Then I said something that surprised even me. "I am not his sponsor anymore." Her eyes sharpened. "You are his sister." "I was his bank," I replied. "And the account is closed." That evening, Kola sent me a voice note. His voice cracked. "Amara. I didn't think it would go this far." That sentence revealed everything. He thought the court case would scare me. He thought shame would bend me. He thought I would fold. Like always. I played the message twice. Then deleted it. A week later, the real collapse happened. I received a call from one of Kola's hospital colleagues. He had missed a shift. Then another. When I arrived at his apartment, he was sitting on the floor. Head in his hands. White coat tossed aside like a costume. "I can't breathe," he whispered. For a moment. Just a moment. The old reflex kicked in. Fix it. Pay it. Hold it together. But I didn't. I sat across from him instead. "I'm not your solution anymore," I said calmly. He looked up, eyes red. "So you'll just watch me fall?" I shook my head. "No," I said. "I'll watch you stand on your own." He broke then. Not loudly. Quietly. The way men do when they've never been allowed to fail. "I was afraid," he admitted. "That if I didn't take everything, I'd be nothing." The words landed heavy. I thought of all the times I had shrunk. So he could feel tall. "I loved you," I said. "But love doesn't mean erasing myself." Our mother called that night. She didn't yell. She cried. "You've changed," she said. "Yes," I replied. "I had to." She accused me of being cold. Of forgetting where I came from. I told her the truth. I remember exactly where I came from. That's why I refused to go back. Silence followed. Then a soft click. The next morning, I woke up lighter. Not happy. Free. People think confrontation is loud. In my experience, the real change comes after. In the quiet. After the shouting stops. After the guilt loses its grip. After no becomes a complete sentence. Kola did not call for a while. Neither did my mother. At first, the silence felt strange. Like walking without a limp you didn't know you had. Then it felt good. I began fixing Baba's house slowly. Not renovating. Remembering. I repaired the front steps with my own hands. Painted the window frames the same dull green Baba loved. Planted hibiscus near the gate because he once said, "A home should greet you before people do." Each small repair felt like reclaiming something I had postponed for years. Myself. Work changed too. I stopped taking cases that smelled like power bullying the quiet. Instead, I helped widows whose land had been signed away. Old men accused of being confused when they refused to sell. Women who were told, "You should be grateful you're included at all." I knew that language now. One afternoon, an alert appeared on my phone. A bank transfer. From Cola. No message. Just numbers. It wasn't much. But it wasn't nothing. I didn't respond. That was my power now. Choosing when silence was strength. Not surrender. Weeks later, I ran into him outside the hospital. He looked thinner. Older. Real. "I'm paying," he said quietly. "I know it will take time." I nodded. "That's accountability," I replied. "Not guilt." He swallowed. "I'm sorry," he said. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't perfect. But it was honest. And honesty counts. When it arrives before it's demanded. My mother came last. Not with apologies. With food. A pot of jollof rice left at my gate. No note. In our culture, that is a language. I accepted it. Without reopening the door. Boundaries don't mean cruelty. They mean clarity. That night, I sat on the porch as the city breathed around me. Generators humming. Distant laughter. A motorcycle passing like a memory that no longer hurts. I realized something then. I wasn't waiting anymore. Not for approval. Not for gratitude. Not for my turn. I had already arrived. There is a myth we are taught early. That love is proven by endurance. That the one who carries the most pain is the strongest. But pain is not proof of love. And endurance is not destiny. Months passed. Not everything healed. But everything settled. Cola kept paying. Small amounts. Irregular. Real. Each transfer carried no excuses. Just numbers. That mattered more than apologies. We learned how to exist without leaning on each other. Not as enemies. Not as saviors. As adults. Sometimes we crossed paths. At a distance. A nod. A pause. No resentment. No return. Just truth standing where silence once lived. My mother stopped calling about favors. She still sent messages on holidays. Still told people. My daughter is very independent now. I let that sentence mean whatever she needed it to mean. I no longer corrected the story. Because I was no longer living inside it. One evening, I drove to the riverside land Baba had left us. The sun sank low, turning the water copper. I stood there alone. And I said out loud. To the wind. To the memory of a man who saw me clearly. No. Not in anger. Not in fear. In peace. Life after no is louder. Food tastes richer. Sleep comes deeper. Laughter stays longer. You stop explaining yourself. You stop auditioning for love. You stop paying to belong. People still call me strong. But now, I know the truth. Strength isn't sacrifice that destroys you. Strength is choosing yourself. Without asking permission. Strength is locking your door. And keeping your keys. I am no longer the background. I am no longer the solution. I am no longer a role assigned by blood. I am a woman who learned this too late. And just in time. Love that costs your identity. Is not love. And my life. Finally. Belongs to me.